from PRX.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bakers, bakers everywhere. Bakers, I guess like you can't be baker. I mean, you could, like, I wanted to say bakers everywhere to mean all bakers who are listening to me are welcome here, which is true. But thinking about it, there's a lot of things you could say everywhere, right? And kind of mean it. But baking's a very specific thing. And I realize there's some alternate ways of baking things, but there's not an endless number of ways of baking things, right? Talk about a way to start out a sleep podcast. I just stumbled into this. It's gold. So I can't say bakers everywhere. Well, I guess everywhere a baker would find themselves, then it would fit. So talk also overanalyzing. But I was just thinking in my head, I was idealizing bakers. Let me just explain to you what happened. In my head, much like an animated TV series like The Simpsons or something, there was I guess it literally wasn't a bubble in my head. It was within my brain or my imagination. And it was a bit animated. And there was, when I said bakers everywhere, I was picturing them smiling, some, leaping like fawns, and many nice things. But then I said, wait a second, you can't bake in an open field. I mean, you could technically. I got this, solar baker here. It's but I wasn't picturing you with the solar baker thing. Sun oven, is that what they call it? Solar oven, probably not a sun oven. The sun is like an oven, but you say, oh yeah, there's a tiny sun in there. It's my son's oven. So bakers everywhere, people sleep with me, listeners everywhere. Welcome. If you're new, we're already talk about being in for a snoozy as a doozy. Welcome to Sleep With Me. It's a podcast that's here to put you to sleep tonight. We're doing the season finale of Bake Off. And that's why I tried to set it up that way. Then I went way off topic. So Sleep With Me, if you're regular listeners, good to have you back. If you're new, this show's a bit different. It's kind of a friendly hangout. Like it's here to kind of keep you company and take your mind off of stuff so you could fall asleep, to be your friend in the deep dark night. Yeah, just to help you off into dreamland. And I'm sorry, I got petered out. That's what happens in this podcast too. I run out of solar energy, and I guess I forgot to preheat my oven is what happened. So yeah, basically what we got coming up is support. So paying for the podcast is optional for anybody, just coming and going, checking the show out. Then a long meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime, and help you get ready for bed and wind down. And then later on we'll cover Bake Off. Don't worry, I think we'll be back with one more Bake Off holiday episode, probably. But yeah, that's it. I'm glad you're here. If you're new or you're checking the show out or you're coming and going or you only listen to a couple episodes, don't worry, we got you. It's the people that fall asleep fast, so listen all night long, whose lives are greatly improved by Sleep With Me. If Sleep With Me has greatly made your life better, you say, man, this show has made my life better. It's really helped me. Then I could use you to listen to what these ways to support the show back are. Thanks. All right, everybody, it's time to talk about tonight's sponsor, Helix Sleep, and they've got some amazing deals coming up. You're going to hear about it at the end of this ad read, so do not miss out. I want you to right now to open up your phone. Just do it with me. I'm going to go to helixsleep.com/sleep, and if I were you, I wouldn't want to, I don't know what your relationship with your bed is right now. I've had a long-term relationship with my Helix mattress. It fits my needs, how I sleep. I sleep on my side, I sleep on my stomach, but now I'm sleeping more on my back, and I'm relocating, and unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I could ship my mattress because I have to move my stuff before I move. But that's okay. It means I get a new Helix, so I'm going to take the Helix quiz right now, helixsleep.com/sleep. 30 seconds, and you can, okay, 1 or 2 sleepers. 1. Okay, let me put in my email. Put in my name here, give a little bit of information. Okay, what size mattress am I considering? I got that down. All right. I don't know if are you taking this quiz with me at helixsleep.com/sleep? All right, toss. I guess I toss and turn. So I'm going to pick toss and turn. And what kind of firmness? Okay, I'm going to pick my firmness that fits my needs. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get yours, Okay, I'm going to talk about my back there, talk about temperature. All right, I got matched with my mattress. Oh, boy, and it's a different one than I have now just because I made a couple changes to how I sleep. So I'm going to check this out and think about it for my next Helix I'm going to be sleeping in. So take that Helix quiz. It's going to be coming right to your door, but most of all, it'll be a mattress that fits you, your needs, and how you sleep. And the best news is that Helix has amazing deals for Sleep With Me listeners, but only if you use our link. So go to helixsleep.com/sleep for 25% off site-wide during their extended Labor Day sale. That's helixsleep.com/sleep for 25% off site-wide. Make sure you enter our show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/sleep. Thanks, everybody. Hey, everybody, Scoots here, and if you've been listening to Sleep With Me for longer than a year, you probably know me pretty well. You probably develop preferences about the show, favorites, maybe you build your own playlists in your podcast app. Maybe you've kind of, I'm a part of your life. I'm a part of your routine, and I'm hoping if you've been listening over a year, this is the time you're listening to me and hearing me right now, and you're not changing your mind about supporting the show, but realizing, hey, I have been listening. Holy cow, how have I not supported this podcast? How have I not at least tested out Sleep With Me Plus? Because it's built with long-term listeners in mind. If you've never supported the show or you stopped and you're thinking about coming back, maybe like Timothy said, Scoots, I'm a full-time caregiver and, person I care for, and I discovered the podcast, and we love listening to the ad-free content. Or John that said, I see and feel how much you love doing this podcast as your vocation. I'm going to help do my part to keep that a reality. So can you take part in this too? Now, if you decided you're not going to support the show or you're not in a position, you could still root with me. This is like the closest thing to Sleep With Me sports. We're rooting that there is someone listening. Maybe it's you. Maybe can you feel all those other listeners rooting for you? Or are you doing the rooting and saying, yeah, I've been listening 4 years. I've been listening 2 years. It is time for me to support the show. Well, we're rooting for you. And I hope you're hearing me. I hope you're listening. And if you're not the person I'm talking to, I hope you're rooting with me that person is hearing me. Because we really could use your support. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And here's the thing. There's a 7-day trial, so you could cancel after 6 days if it doesn't meet your expectations. But if you've been listening over a year, I need you to either root for that person, or maybe you are that person that's going to support the show right now at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. Oh, Mystery Bart. A lot of people help out on this show. Who are they?
Chris Posty Poster Son sounds like an earful. Wrote the theme song. Edits episodes too. Carl W. the Legend. Also edits episodes. Ashley, Kenny, Scotty, Jennifer. Runner. Eric and the team at Astound or on the website. I am the Mystery Bart. I do the lullabies, yeah. I do commissions at jonathanmann.net. I'll write a song for you. Any reason at all. You can tell me the story and I'll make it personal. You see the kindness shine straight on through when the listeners form their own Facebook group. Keith, Stacy, Sarah, Julie, and Jennifer. These are your moderators. Get support, dear Scooter, on Patreon. Buy the merch and support the sponsors. You can find anything you want at sleepwithmepodcast.com. And we're so proud that we could dance. Rusty Biscuit, Lois, Anna like banana. Leah does the transcript.
Thanks, Mystery Bard. And don't forget, the most comfortable way to listen to Sleep With Me is with sleep phones. You can get sleep phones at sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones and use Sleep With Me for $5 off at checkout. Sleepwithmepodcast.com/sleep-phones. Use Sleep With Me at checkout. What do you say we get on with the show? Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you could set aside whatever's keeping you awake, whether that's thoughts on your mind, thoughts you're thinking about the past, present, the future. So thinking thoughts, it could be feelings, anything coming up for you emotionally, either related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there, feelings, I don't know, that about the future or the past. It could be physical sensations, changes in time, temperature, routine, work schedule. You could have guests, you could be traveling, or you could just be going through something tough or that's impacting your sleep. And whatever it is, I'm here to try to help with that because I want to. Why do I want to? Because I've been there. I still get that. Unfortunately, I go there. I actually don't go there. I kind of end up there. And, man, it's not, I don't know, the last couple of weeks has just been baffling. So I have a combination of stuff that's impacting my sleep. And I know what it feels like for me. And actually, I know all the stuff, right? Make a sleep podcast for 11 plus years. And I know that all these different things to try or things to not do. And the best practices, even though I don't like to use that stuff around here, so are the best suggestions I could take. And sometimes it's just a combination of stuff that I don't quite, I'm like, man, what's going on with this? And life stuff on top of it. And for me, it's like two layers. Like if trouble getting into sleep, I'm not quite sure about that. The trouble staying asleep is other stuff going on that's waking me up. And I don't know, because I know what that feels like. And I've developed a much better relationship with it because of this podcast. But even then, it's not the nicest feelings. And when it first started for me as a kid, it was a lot harder than that. I had no resources internally and no way to foster some kindness and patience with it. So I know what that feels like. This is one of those things that's just unforgettable, that feeling. I could go right back to it. And I can go back to it. I could slide right back to it some nights when I'm having trouble with that stuff. And the only reason I go through all this is not to bring it up or rehash it, but to see you or attempt to see you and how you're feeling and that you're not alone. Even if I can't relate to how you feel, even if what I'm saying is dissonant to how your experience, I mean, I hope some of the general or the specifics we can relate on. But even if we can't, the great news about this particular podcast is there are people listening around the world, and there is someone listening right now who really can understand where you're at or relate to it at least strongly. And they are in their bed right now. And they're thinking fondly of you, even though they don't know you, and they're sending that to you. And sure, it might be indirect or it might not be palpable. The thing is, it might not be palpable, but I think it is tangible for them. And I think it's tangible for you too. in some way to say, yeah, there's somebody out there that gets what it's like for me at bedtime or in the middle of the night. And, oh man, I have some kind of feeling there that they get it and they're not judging me, or they just can't relate. They can relate to how I feel. But better than that, they are rooting for you. They're hoping, hey, I hope this podcast can help you out like it helped me, or you discover something else that does. Because we all here at this show, the listeners, the people that work on the show, myself, we believe you deserve a good night's sleep, a place where you get the rest you need so tomorrow's better for you, or that you get the rest you need on a regular basis. Your life is better and more manageable. And, yeah, that's kind of important, right? So yeah, that's kind of why we make the show, like, is just so hopefully, so you don't have to dread bedtime anymore. And you say, at least I got that silly podcaster to listen to who occasionally gets intense, and because I take this seriously, because it means a lot to me. It does. Making the show is meaningful to me, and helping people get the rest they need is meaningful to me. And I hear the stories from people. So, yeah, the way it works is I send my voice across the deep, dark night. I use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. So I go off topic, I get mixed up, then I kind of forget what I was talking about. Then I kind of reverse course and I say, wait a second, yeah. Then, my stall out, I've used filler words. And we just wait till I talk about Bake Off. You say, man, do you know any? I mean, I already talked about my knowledge of baking. I mean, I do some baking, but nothing like on this show. And you say, Scoots, how many times have you had to look up Genoese sponge or whatever the other stuff is that they use on there? It's probably, yeah, hundreds of times probably. Still not positive what it is. Or yeah, the other like some of the more other stuff that goes in there that I can't even remember its names. Like there's one, it looks like a frosting type thing, but then you put it on and then you bake it and it becomes a baked good, and it's got some name. They all have names though. So yeah, that's why, that's like what the show is a bit like, because it's like you're hanging out with a friend who watched Bake Off and he's just going to talk to you. And you're like, man, this is the least interesting recap of Bake Off I've ever heard. Also, these episodes came out years ago and you're just getting around to it. And I say, yep, correct. So, yeah, what else do you need to know? This is a show. Most people don't like the show, right? When they first get here, most people get here, you're skeptical, you're doubtful, you're fed up, you've been trying to find something to help you fall asleep. Why wouldn't you be frustrated, skeptical, or doubtful when you listen to a sleep podcast for the first few times? To me, that makes perfect sense. That's how I'd feel. And all's my job is to kind of slowly see if I can earn your trust by kind of losing your attention, which is a unique way of doing things. And not so much win you over, but so you're like, yeah, he's not bad. Now, if you already know you don't like me or the show, we have a website set up. Or if you discover, like I suggest, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people said, hey, it took 2 or 3 tries for me to get used to the show. Now I'm a super fan. I didn't realize, like, I got here, I was expecting some sort of guru and a sleep podcast and something different, and this is not what I expected. So at first, a lot of people are, but then they wake up and they're like, oh, wait a second, I fell asleep. Wait a second, it was like hanging out with a friend the second or third time. He is serious. The show is always going nowhere, always never getting started. So just see how it goes the first 2 or 3 tries. But if you've listened for 2 or 3 times, or you already know, or you're like a regular listener who's like you're fed up with the show or something's frustrating you, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you set up for all of that. It's a place where you could find other sleep podcasts, or you could let it out, or whatever. Like if the show's not for you, or you really strongly dislike me, there's a link that'll take you someplace. If you're a listener to the show and something has fallen out for you, you could always use that form to kind of just get it out. Because no matter what you think of me, the truth is I can still relate to what it's like not to be able to sleep at night. And I still truly believe you deserve a good night's sleep. And also I want to save us all the energy, like whether you're never going to listen again or whether you're a former fan or whatever, from just like, let's keep the energy like we don't have to go there. We can let's just find something that helps you sleep, right? So that's what all the spirit of the no thank you. We had the no thank you page for people that didn't like me, then for people the show didn't work for, and now it's even for people that are like listen to the show that don't like me. So it's like that it really works. The only reason I'm laughing is because it's worked every time to just help people find something else to help them fall asleep, or to just let them get it out in a way that's not where I can keep focusing on making the best sleep podcast I can. So yeah, it's a show most people don't like. More good news. This is a podcast you don't really listen to. It's kind of like background noise or out of focus picture, or, something that doesn't quite, you're like a TV show streaming under your pillow, or a book you're not paying attention to that you're reading or listening to. And then you kind of just drift off and you say, I don't even know what he's been talking about. So you just barely listen. This is also a sleep podcast. It's not meant to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep, not to put you to sleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. There's a reason the show is over an hour, so you don't have to think about when you're going to fall asleep. And, you don't have to think about, what am I going to do? And there's just tons and tons of other episodes, because I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. Because there's people listening that I know of, that I've heard from, and people I never heard from that are out there that can't sleep at all or that need a break during the day. And even if I haven't heard from you, I'm here for you. I'm here to the very end. I mean, you probably know that already. And if you fall asleep, I'm here to the very end for you. Because my job is to be your bore sib, your bore bae, your bore friend, your best bore bud, your bore cuz, your, I guess I said it out, boreman, your bores, your borebee, your, Boris, Borloff, Nabor, Barbor. Have I used that one before? Probably somebody told me that one. Your best bore friend forever, to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff and help you fall asleep. So, that's my job is just to be here for you to listen to me when you need to barely listen to me when you need to, or to fall asleep while I'm talking. So, what else? Okay, most people don't like the show, but yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's my job, man. Most people, you don't listen, you don't fall asleep, or you do, but you don't. What else do we? Oh, structure the show also throws new people off. This show is very adaptable, but most people like to listen, it doesn't mean just because most people like to listen one way, it's just the way most people come in too. So I just explain what the structure is if you're new, and then you could see if the way, you could just see how it goes, right? But most people are kind of like temporary listeners, or they kind of come and go when they're going through something, and they like to listen to the ad-supported version linearly. Or they're new, or they're just a casual listener. They just need the show once or twice a week or whatever. And that works for them. And they just put it on and they let it play for an hour, or they set a sleep timer in their podcast app for like 45 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever. And they drift off and get ready for bed during the intro. So there's the greeting, which all our shows start out. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. So if you'll seen and welcomed in, you say, oh, okay, I might check that show out. Then there's support. So they have those casual listeners and new people paying for the show. You don't have to worry about it. Then there's a long meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And that you could listen to while you're getting ready for bed or you're in bed getting comfortable. But what I would recommend at least trying out if you become a regular listener is like doing some sort of chill activity, even if it's just lying in bed or sitting somewhere or getting ready for bed, to kind of ease yourself into bedtime and use the intro as a part of that. Maybe you could try it. And if you decide the intros are not for you, like getting eased into bedtime, a show within a show, it takes 20 minutes or so. It's the structure of the intros the same every time, but the intros are different every time. So whatever keeps you awake can't quite get used to it. But some people just prefer the stories. We have another podcast. It's in every podcast app. You could get it right now, Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me. But I found that people like the intros because it's like a hang time, right? It's where we all hang out. So that's the intro. Then there's support, and then we'll talk about Bake Off. And all told, we'll be here a bit over an hour, ideally. And I'm really glad you checked the show out. I really work hard. A bunch of other people work really hard on this show. And I really appreciate you coming by and checking it out. If you're new or a regular listener, coming back for episode after episode after episode. We yearn and we strive. So thanks for giving us your time. And if you're a regular listener, you fall asleep fast, you listen all night long, you've listened for years, and Sleep With Me makes your life better, we could use your support from the show. If the answers to all those are no, don't worry about supporting the show. But if Sleep With Me has changed your life, these are the ways you could make sure the show can keep doing that. Thanks. Hey, everybody, Scoots here. And if you've been listening to Sleep With Me for longer than a year, you probably know me pretty well. You probably develop preferences about the show, favorites. Maybe you build your own playlists in your podcast app. Maybe you've kind of, I'm a part of your life. I'm a part of your routine. And I'm hoping if you've been listening over a year, this is the time you're listening to me and hearing me right now. And you're not changing your mind about supporting the show, but realizing, hey, I have been listening. Holy cow, how have I not supported this podcast? How have I not at least tested out Sleep With Me Plus? Because it's built with long-term listeners in mind. If you've never supported the show or you stopped and you're thinking about coming back, maybe like Timothy said, Scoots, I'm a full-time caregiver and, a person I care for, and I discovered the podcast, and we love listening to the ad-free content. Or John that said, I see and feel how much you love doing this podcast as your vocation. I'm going to help do my part to keep that a reality. So can you take part in this too? Now, if you decided you're not going to support the show or you're not in a position, you could still root with me. This is like the closest thing to Sleep With Me sports. We're rooting that there is someone listening. Maybe it's you. Maybe can you feel all those other listeners rooting for you? Or are you doing the rooting and saying, yeah, I've been listening 4 years. I've been listening 2 years. It is time for me to support the show. Well, we're rooting for you. And I hope you're hearing me. I hope you're listening. And if you're not the person I'm talking to, I hope you're rooting with me that person is hearing me. Because we really could use your support. And you could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And here's the thing. There's a 7-day trial, so you could cancel after 6 days if it doesn't meet your expectations. But if you've been listening over a year, I need you to either root for that person, or maybe you are that person that's going to support the show right now at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Thanks. All right, everybody, Scoots here, and it's time for the final. It's at least a Collection 8, Episode 10 on... the flicking of nets here in the U.S. is final, not finale, the final. I don't know if it's always been the final or the finale, but Another season of baking comes to a close, and we're here for it. No cold open, right? I think there's no cold open. I'm getting my notes ready, and it's playing. Got the credits. And yeah, we have a little recap. In the beginning, Matt does a recap. We have all the bakers. We run through some of them. We see all of them kind of doing silly stuff. And ups and downs, drinking tea, mixing stuff. But now there is just 3. And they're all at their mixers concentrating. Holy moly, are they? And we see things aren't going good for Laura. And we see Jeepers Creepers. Laura's in the freezer. And then the opening comes and starts. And we say, oh, there's no jokes from Matt. Or, oh, boy, then we get a great shot of the countryside. And Dave says, good luck, everybody. It looks like it's a warm day. Shorts, matching shorts on Dave and Peter. Sorry, Peter. Your name, I always blank on your name. We get Laura's recap. Freddie Mercury. Not turning on the ice cream maker's ice setting, ups and downs, but she proved she did persist and kept going, and even was star baker. So it didn't mean anything till she got it. We hear her; she talks about how incredible it is making it to the final. Dave, he said, "I thought I was going home on week 3, but he's been listening." And improving and learning, and they're impressed. One of the most improved bakers in the competition's history. Remarkable. And, okay, I'm happy to be in the final. I've always wanted to get here. Peter says, since I was 12 or 13, baby-faced baker, Peter the Great Battenberg, thank you. Ambitious bakes, flawless flavors, taking things to another level. Different shirt every time, too, so far. Youngest finalist. Let's give it a step further. We'll give it a shot. He's confident, but not cocky, in my opinion. Hello, bakers. Welcome to the final. It's your last signature challenge. If someone could remind me these things, if when I get to England, I need to eat these baked custard slices. Noel loves custard. Then he talks a little bit surreality about little cream horn. And Matt says, yeah, this joke's not funny. Let's just end. Why don't you sit the final out? It's pretty good. Matt's good at the awkward stuff or responding to awkwardness. 2.5 hours on your marks, get set, bake, but Noel says bake off camera. So we learned, Scoots learned what a custard slice is. Maybe for the 3rd time I've done this, maybe not. Sounds homely, says Prue. It's a difficult thing to get right. You want well-laminated pastry? Check for me. I like that. So it's like a custard cake. At first I thought when I was, the first time I watched this episode, I said, is this like a cream pie? Because I love cream pie. But spoiler, it's not. You're going to have to use your fridge, Paul says, to finish your custard slices. So we start with Laura, and she's trying to do something refined. Yuzu. You say yuzu, I say uzu, custard slice. And instead of, she's going to put hers on the side, and the resistance then is in the custard to hold it up. That's the plan. Chantilly cream, not chantilly lace. Lemon and coconut gel, and rough puff, which I think everyone's doing anyway. Frozen butter, yeah, you got check. Nerves, check. Of course. Folding your pastry with butter? Yes. Working it into folds? Correct. And chilling it down, cooling it down, slowing it down in the fridge or the freezer? Yes. Like Uncle Ebenezer. Silky smooth, get in some gelatin maybe put it in water. You don't want it to be too much because you don't want it rubbery. And 10 leaves? How many leaves do you need? All right, Dave, tell us about your custard slices. Caramel latte, custard slice, coffee set custard, caramel. Oh, boy, Dave, I'm liking this. Caramel again? You haven't had much luck with that. Yeah, set coffee, caramel. We start to see that they're not like cake slices. They're different than that. But I don't go to a lot of patissiers. I need honestly, I need a patissier guide. Like I need someone to guide me through it. Noel and Dave are talking about the future Bambino. He gets a message from his wife or partner and their future baby and the dog all sitting on the floor together. Because they've been, they haven't been able to join. None of the friends or family are going to be able to join for the final. So they sent loving messages. Feels a bit like Stevie B's show. Rob has a podcast about that show where people get letters, but these are videos. So he's getting the coffee, hoping he gets the right amount. Whiskey into Peter's crumb pat. Not your average custard, so Laura says. More liquid that's added, the more it has to set. Yuzu and lime, 300 to 100 milliliters. Now, Peter's doing two different custards, raspberry crumb pat, whiskey crumb pat. He wants a two-tone color, porridge oat topping. I love a porridge oat topping. I don't know what the porridge part is, but how do you feel about the final? Hasn't sunk in. And, I'm in the bake-off final. Okay, it's awesome. He does a little screen time with his parents and his twin brother. And those rainy afternoons, his mother says, when you were 4, making cupcakes with your brother. Couldn't have lost my oven to a better person, Mom says. And this is way more than a baking competition for Peter. It shaped him as a young man. This is the biggest time away from home he's ever had. He goes, maybe I haven't experienced as much as my peers, but this is something that, he goes, 100 people only 100 people have ever experienced this before. And they talk about going back to uni. Matt's like, what when you go back to school, like people are going to know who you are. What is that going to be like? Matt doesn't exactly portray it as pleasant, but he does portray it as true. So it's like, just be aware, Peter. Your privacy may not be yours anymore. And we got some, making, some whisking, some buttering, and trying to make sure your custard sets. So again, I don't know what these custard slices are. They like a cream pie or no? I mean, I know like a lot of them are more citrusy and berry based. So I'd probably prefer Dave's most of all. I can't have a whiskey crumb pat anyway. But unless I watched Peter cook it for a long time. But all right, so these are going in the oven. Icing sugar on Peter's slices. Laura's putting it between sheets to weigh it down. Put it in the oven. 190 for 25. What do you say? Golden brown and lovely, I hope. And final. Pretty cool. Noel says to Laura, 3 bakes to win. Yeah, change your life. She goes, I like my life as it is. She hears from her husband. He just deep cleaned the kitchen from the last time she was there. That's funny. It's a joke, but she's a bit like me. I'm like that, man. I'm not the neatest person. Neat as a pin, not me. Not even within the general vicinity. She also hears from her father. He's got a nice quilt behind him. And talking about pulling it off. Great job by the producers to make the chair look really good with the quilt and then another thing behind him. Well done. So she's talking about doing it for them, making them proud. And Yeah, then we get Mr. Spoon talking to Laura. Who do you think's going to win, Laura? Mr. Spoon doesn't know. He's been to every final, supposedly. Do you think Laura's going to win? And he nods silently. Noel says, yeah, can you kiss Mr. Spoon? First she says no. Then he says, come on. He laughs, heads off. And they say, okay, call time. Halfway through, Noel's got a pie topper on his head. Okay, it better be baked well and laminated, right? That's what Paul and Brew are expecting. Will it be flaky? We'll find out. Only time will tell. Color's looking good. Laura's butter seeped out, so man, but it's thick. Now it's time to transform those custard slices into decadent, taste. Magic 8-Ball. Oh, that was Noel, like Magic 8-Ball, the way he was asking Mr. Spoon. Honeycomb. Peter's honeycomb is looking, I don't know if it's strange for a honeycomb or not. I've never seen it before, but it's very bubbly. And from 60 Star Trek, Noel says, I could communicate with it. And, so he says, yeah, I'll see you later. Halfway crust, extra texture, Noel and group, 30 minutes, layers, cut it down to size, so crumbly. Dave is pleased. Raspberries in a row for Peter. And Laura's trying to pick up her pace. We're in business now. And Dave's like assembling his thing. Laura's putting hers and Dave's in the freezer. Worried about time. Wouldn't be a signature challenge without a race to the finish. Dave's comes out of the freezer. Laura's comes out of the freezer. Here we go. Let's find out if these custards are set or not. Peter's is. Dave's is. Clean and set. Dave's is. Laura's is not. Hers is still a little squidgy. And, more than squidgy, not set. And she's like, this is no good. Peter's cutting his slices. I mean, this thing, it's different than a tiramisu, but that's like the shape I would associate it with. Again, I don't eat at a lot of nice restaurants. And then if I did, I guess I wouldn't know to order a custard. Where do you buy a custard? In the U.S. or the U.K., like a patissier, like in the U.S., this is where I need a guide. They say, here, right here, Scoots, and these are the ones you would like. Just try, just try a bite, because it's like, yeah, I could taste the uzu and lime one. I'm sure it tastes good, but, okay, so they're doing the final decorating. Laura's not pleased. The time is up, but she puts her head in the freezer. She's down. Noel comes over. First, Dave comes over and talks to her. Then Noel talks to her about Bjorn Borg, forgetting everything. Says, just forget everything that happened and move on. He whispers it to her. He was a good champion because he could forget anything. So the next point, he would just think about the next point. He'd never think about anything behind him, just go forward. It's really a good moment. But Laura's talking heads. She's kind of embarrassed. And Noel says, you've come back from worse, so let's see. Okay, now it's time for the judges to weigh in. They go to Peter's first. Cranchin custard slice. Look good. Let's hope they taste good. Professional. Like the way the raspberries are standing. Lovely flaky pastry in it, and looks good. Paul bites it. Prue bites it. Dave watches. Oats are delicious on top. Crunchy, slightly caramelized, and beautiful flavor custard, the whiskey and the raspberry. A little bit thick, though, but just a little bit thick. Raspberries, your saving grace. Balance is there. You ticked every box, thought it through. Lovely custard slice. Thank you. Then we go to Dave's. He's got a coffee bean on each one, too. Now, that looks tasty, as long as I have it before 2 p.m. Wobbly, wobble, wobble. Should wobble. And has a crack, has a crunch, stood up to the cut. They start taking bites. Prue says, this is delicious. Pastry's beautiful and flaky. Coffee flavor. A little stodgy, though, the custard. But still pretty delicious. I mean, not stodgy. Love the coffee and the espresso flavor. Well done. Okay, so one down. Then Laura's up next. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry to have to serve you this. I'm a little bit embarrassed. How much gelatin? Not enough, huh? And then again, yeah, because we got the citrus flavors probably make it harder to, use the gelatin. Too much flavor in a custard you can't set, Paul says. Flavors sound wonderful, though. Pastry's hard. You lost your butter. Where could my rough puff butter be? It's like a cracker. Prue takes a bite. Paul takes a bite. Custard's clearly delicious. Sharp, strong. Love the flavors. Puff pastry's not good, though. Or if you had a bad morning, but it does taste delicious. Could have a great afternoon. So, yeah. Noel says, see, 2 more challenges. Don't, just let it go. Move on. Bad morning, Prue said, Laura says, and that's accurate. So she's obviously, this is not great for her. Now, a gingham-wrapped mystery. All right, so it's time for the gingham-wrapped mystery technical challenge set by Prue. The lovely Prue. Who's Prue? Matt asks. Who's the other person? Okay, they warn me about this person. Who's Prue? Any advice? Keep your cool. Keep everything cool. Use your fridges. Everybody's like, oh, okay. All right, so final technical challenge. 8 little walnut whirls. These look so good. Holy cow. Another thing, I got to figure out how I can get these. Sablé biscuit base. Coffee ganache filling surrounded by marshmallow and coated in tempered chocolate. 2 hours. Get ready, get set baked. The only thing I've seen like this in the U.S. is like in mass market, like I don't even know what they're called but I don't think they have all that. They don't have the coffee stuff. Coffee infused ganache in the middle. Pinwheels, maybe they're called? I don't even know. Laura does not like this idea. Final technical, Prue. 8 walnut whirls. So, boy, do they look. These are right up Scoots' alley. Coffee ganache or chocolate ganache would be fine with me. Surrounded by marshmallow. This thing would be 10,000 times better than a s'more, in my opinion. You just have chocolate ganache, marshmallow, graham cracker base. I'd be fine with that instead of actually having to eat s'mores. Maybe I'll do that. I could do it. Maybe I could do that. Marshmallow's tricky. You don't want to lose these whirlies, whirlies. And then you got to get the chocolate to set the right temperature. Better 35 degrees today, maybe. So that's why I suggested chocolate, and they laugh. It's hot. Nobody's happy. They got the cold towels on their necks. Toast the walnuts. Toasty and walnutty. So they're going to go, I like a biscuit base that would have a walnut or an almond flavor. So they're chopping it up. Blitz them like they're ground almonds. Then make the sablé dough and chill, man. Sablé is a type of biscuit most people have never made before. Is it like a pastry biscuit? Okay, so that's the sablé dough. Dough a deer, a sablé dough. A dough that you pronounce sablé. So warm, man, isn't it? Noel says to Dave. Yes, put on an anorak, man. coffee-infused ganache. Laura doesn't like coffee at all, like strongly. Peter's got coffee beans in low heat, infusing a flavor. And how do you infuse coffee? Laura doesn't even know. Hopefully that's infused enough. And ganache has got to be smooth. No lumps, no bumps, Peter. They put it in the fridge. Laura's still trying to figure out, heat the coffee and the cream together. Okay, walnut whirls, man. And Matt says, what do you think about them, Dave? Are you excited? And Dave said, he says, we can't even see you on camera. Cut discs out. They're really small discs. What's the thickness? Laura's got to get her biscuits. 8 biscuits is what we need. How thin? But that amount of dough, we got it. It was supposed to be exact or what? Peter's like, mine is too thin. Dave's going to the oven. 10 minutes for Dave, maybe less. Laura's working on her stuff. Okay. So it's like a coffee-infused chocolate ganache, it looks like, because Laura was making hers. Go ask Mr. Spoon. Is Peter ready to win? Mr. Spoon also says yes to Peter. By the way, kiss the spoon, man. Little peck on the cheek. He does it like right below the eyes. Noel loves it. Peter's having fun. Never made marshmallow before, says Dave. And it's Italian meringue with gelatin, maybe? I don't know. He says. Laura says, yeah, it's similar to Italian meringue. Peter uses Swiss meringue method, eggs over bain marie. So that's like Laura's doing a syrup and egg whites. Same with Dave. So, oh boy, bain marie. You know, that's one of my favorite things to say on this show. Bathing with bain marie. Is that what we talked about? Matt gives Laura a fresh cold towel. So she uses that to cool her neck. Residual heat melting down the gelatin. And so both methods make marshmallow, Italian or Swiss meringue. There was something missing. I don't know what it was. Oh, Laura's egg whites were not whisked enough when she added her sugar syrup. So she's going to have to try again. Peter has this, he says, my cookies look nice. Okay. Dave's got 5 more minutes. Crisp biscuit. So Laura's going to try to restart her marshmallow. 1 hour left for the bakers. Laura's going fast. Then you got to pipe a cone of coffee ganache into the center of each biscuit. Give it a quick whiz, man. And, okay, whether it's right or not, no idea, Laura says. Put it back in the freezer. Dave's look the best so far. Peter's were more of like a tube. Laura's still working to catch up. Then number 8, assemble. Step 8. So do your whirls, your marshmallow whirls. Reminds me of one of my favorite holiday songs, Marshmallow Whirls. I'm making marshmallow whirls. Yes, are you whirling? Twice songs have popped in here. 3 times if you count whatever the thing I said a long time ago was. I don't even know. Okay, then it's got to be an iconic shape, no gappage in the marshmallow whirl, and then a glossy coat of tempered chocolate, 34-degree heat. You got to be precise with this. Precisely microwaved. I don't know how. 45-ish degrees, Peter says. Cold seed chocolate. I don't know what that. Then you take it down to 29. You're losing me. Air temperature is 34 degrees, so it's difficult. Dave's got some other method, ice bath, and we're never going to get to 27. Peter says it's not coming down. Let me remedy that. He goes to the freezer. This was in the freezer. Maybe it'll reduce the heat. Laura's doing a cedar method, whisk it in. But 10 minutes are remaining, so they got to get going. And Noel and Matt are having fun. 36 degrees for in the room, for Laura says. Not looking great because the marshmallow's already melting in the room for Peter. He's like, everybody's like, I don't know if I pour it or dip it. How am I going to get coverage? Dip it, Dave says. Maybe do I dip it? So he tries dipping it, but I think he changes his mind after that. Well, you got one dipped. Peter's doing a soaking method. He's disappointed in his neatness. 1 minute left as these things. Dave's look good. And Peter's look very edible. And then place your walnut whirls behind your photographs, everyone. Okie dokie. And two of them look tempered or shiny. I don't know. We'll see on the tasting here. Okay, so yeah, shiny tempered coating. So they start an iconic whirl light marshmallow. They start with Laura. Not quite set. It could have been chillier. Timing issue probably. Hasn't set. Neither's the chocolate. So it's more of like a pudding type thing. Biscuit's delicious. Needed longer in the oven. Ganache is soft. Marshmallow soft. Chocolate soft. So timing issue. Okay, next up is Peter. Set. Marshmallow is a little soft though. You want whirls. Could have done with a bit longer. Ganache is good. Perfect. Coffee comes through. Not too much marshmallow. And then Dave, like the look, swirls are neat. Could have had a bit longer, just like everybody else. Crack of the biscuit. It's good to have that. Compensate for the sweet stuff. Taking a bite. Okay. Nice crumble. Ganache is right. Could have been darker, though. Flavors are good. They do look neat as a pin. And then they discuss which walnut whirls are winners. And they start with third place. That's Laura. Wasn't quite ready. And the second place is, who is in second place? Peter. Managed to set it. You didn't get the definition, though. Dave, you are the winner. Your biscuits were thicker. Good mouthful, delicious, well done. Then we go outside, last technical, right? Prove myself to Paul and Peru. Can do it. Peter thought he'd be in third, so he's like kind of relieved. Laura said, well, when I came in first the last time, and I thought I was the best of the bad bunch, now I'm the worst of a good bunch, so it's okay. Okay, then we see some birds in the trees, thunder, rain. One challenge remains until we crown the winner. Good luck, everyone. Can Laura win? The table talk begins with, well, it's possible. But, that someone would have to lose it, actually, for her to win. More thunder rumbling. Bruce says she's got a huge mountain to climb. And they say, Laura, like maybe somebody's Thunderous is rooting for Laura. So they all have a laugh about the next dinner party not being invited from Thunder Lord or whatever. Okay, we get a bunch of things, faces, hands, people concern. Welcome for your final showstopper. Colossal dessert tower. And it's reflecting your personal experience. Tower treats it as a large cake at its base. And then the rest of the tower must show off 3 different baking disciplines in 4.5 hours. So, okay, good luck. On your marks, get set, bake. And they start their final assembly here, right? Final challenge, your own personal showstopper. It's like a movie, an exhibition at the end of a term, Prue says. Big cake underneath, 3 other bakes on top. Shoe, pastry, biscuit, pudding, bread, whatever they'd want to do. I just want a perfect, Paul says. Hope they go all out, Prue says, and say, this is good. This is my best. It's raining. They start with Laura. Tell us about your showstopper. She says, okay, it's based on a quote I like from G.K. Chesterton. When it rains on your parade, look for the rainbow, more or less. Rainbow dessert tower, carrot and walnut cake, Chelsea buns, chocolate orange, lemon macaroons, and her Star Baker winning lime tarts, mini versions. Yesterday was topsy-turvy. Yeah, yesterday was not a good day. But I don't know. I just want to be proud of myself. So they said, can you keep your bench clean? And everybody laughs and says, you know, that's unnecessary, man. Method in the chaos, Paul. Okay, so, but, you know, it could be chaotic during this thing from an unlikely source. Bonkers bake-off bubble cake. That's what Peter's working on. My cake's a bit random, more out there than anything I've done. So it's like a puffed rice Christmas tree, spiced Christmas friands, chocolate and orange biscuits, lemon and blackberry creme diplomat, and a strawberries and cream Victoria sandwich. And like your Chris Oy cake, they say. Brainstorm my experience. I came up with 2 main themes. One is the challenge of the uncertainty of what's coming, what we're doing, all of it, and the joy of it, you know. I'm in the Bake Off finale. I've watched half my life. I've dreamed about Paul has to interrupt that about his age. And they say, you're just a kid. And, okay, so Laura's working on her cake, getting it in the oven. While Laura and Peter are working on triumphs, Dave's strategy, a little riskier. His is a tower to redemption. And, yeah, he goes, I'm going to do the bakes I did badly at. I think this is a very smart move to try to win. Big risk, trying to get different results from the same thing, you know. Maybe Einstein said that. Dave Einstein, they say. Okay, so amaretto, Fraser cake syrup, chocolate babka, raspberry profiteroles, miniature white chocolate macadamia nut brownies. Mildly monumental task, Matt says. Succeeding where you failed. Fortune favors the bold. He didn't say, he should have said flavors. You're going to go on holiday after this? Staycation till little Bubba comes along. And he goes, I'm looking for, Matt does seem like a very genuine guy. Oh, I look forward to you having your baby. That's going to be cool. Then there's like a really, is that the awkward moment? He's really good at quiet awkwardness. My first Matt Lucas, like, exposure, so. Okay, enriched dough for the Chelsea buns, cinnamon orange extract as well. And she goes, when my husband's not happy, I do these, like, because he talks about me being in the something. So, does this cake, buns to make amends. Then Bobka's took it out too soon. I didn't know the timing. So Dave's second story of his tower of redemption. Peter takes a sip of tea for Rowan. Peter's chaos theory, biscuit dough. American-style sugar cookie type thing. So, whoa, buddy. What are you talking about? I like, which kind of sugar cookies? Soft kind or the kind you put frosting on? Because those are two totally different things, and I need to know which one so I can prepare for how it's going to taste, because I do like both. Prefer my frosted sugar cookies, like, honestly, like, not even a day old, like 3 or 4 days old. After they're cooked, I feel like they mature better. But like a regular sugar cookie, make the dough, leave it in the fridge for 2 days, and then bake that cookie. If it's a round one, then I'll have it now. Prue and Matt do a little bit. Dave kisses Mr. Spoon on his face by accident, on Mr. Spoon's stem or whatever, by accident. Bada bang biscuits or something. Not measuring up or not something up. Shoes sounding nice, but a bit too bubbly. Shoes too loud. Laura's are coming out. She's feeling good. There's a lot of rolling going on. I guess that's for the buns, yeah. Rolling up the Chelsea buns. So is a cinnamon roll a Chelsea bun? Sausage shapes. Peter's listening to his cake. It's sounding good. And I'm not Peter. I'm Laura. Peter's part ruler, man. He measures everything. Laura does it by eye. His Battenberg biscuits were supposed to be checkerboard, but they're not measuring up, so then he makes them into stripes. But then he tries to do it again. Then he tries to make some also that are checkerboard. Dave's getting ready for his profiteroles. And I did this in practice. Peter says, I don't know why it's not working. My head's not in the game. Dave's getting his stuff in the pastry thingamajigs, tarts, getting shaped. I don't understand how to make a checkerboard. So Peter tries something different. Stripy biscuits, checkerboard biscuits. That's minorly concerning. Okay, then we see some more of the tent. Let's get these in the oven. Sleep well, my beauties. Stripy accidents. They'll look tasty, though. Peter's becoming more chaotic than he planned. He does have a very clean workstation, though, for all the work he's done. But he's stressed. Dave's piping out the old profiterole, like the eclairs he made. Piping out the profiterole, man. Tarts, nice and zesty. And crackling. And they'll stretch out and grow. Be wild. Hopefully these will be nice. That was Dave saying that. Now Peter's trying to do some checkerboards, calling himself a silly Billy. 90 minutes remaining. Does he say okie dokie or okie dokie? And everybody's like trying to figure out their timing. Can we finish these giant dessert towers in time for judging all the cake components, construction, Showstopper fillings, and remaining treats at the same time, multitasking. Dave's working on his brownies. Peter's like, these aren't that great, but whatever, man. Rolls are coming out. They're looking good for both Laura and Dave. Hot stuff, man. No tray bake on his brownie. He wants to make some legit brownies. Structural stuff, you got to structure it. Puffed rice cone. I think that's like a puffed rice crispy treat. But he's doing it as a cone. His cone's falling apart. How long have we got? 1 hour. Noel's doing puppetry now. With a colander and an anorak, actually. That's funny. Talk about a callback. 16 more minutes for the brownies. The guests are the most exclusive garden party of 2020 because it's the staff and the people in the bubble who work so hard to make the baking show happen this year. That's cool to see who's crowned champion. And Laura says, yeah, I'm going as quick as I can. Are you ready? I'll be ready. And the Fraser cake's getting made. Fraser cake almost looks like a Kauai cake, too. I mean, it looks like it has a design on it. I don't know why you didn't mention that. I'd have said also this is like a Kauai cake, too. Okay, so you got to be able to stack this stuff, and it's got to hold up. Christmas pudding Freons. Sounds like something your car needs, except for just the Freon part. Okay, everybody's got to hurry up. Stealth mode. Somebody says, how much time? Half an hour left. This is some serious business now. Laura, come on. That's, you got to use this nougatine. That's the construction material. Nougatine. Yeah, that's like nougatine. I like saying that. Time to ice the cakes, get your nougatine assembled, put fruit on, decorate your cakes. Freons are going to have the taste of a festive season. I'd like to taste those just by themselves, just to see what the flavor is. I'd like to have the option of just having one bite and being like, oh, this is my kind of festive season taste, or, whoa, this is my kind of, and then eating a ton. Or bite and saying, yeah, I don't know about these. This is not my festive season flavor. Or surprisingly, I like the festiveness of this, even though it wasn't what I expected. Okay, so Dave's getting his assembled. He ends up being done way before everybody else. Peter's face is so, they're both using their nougatine structural things to build their towers. And Dave's doing some fine work on it, I guess, or whatever we want to call it. Detail work. Peter's frosting his cone. Dave's eating some of his stuff. Random vibes for Peter. Laura's still kind of working hard. And actually, I'm surprised how sticky Peter's cone is. That he put whatever he frosted with must be like glue-like, because he's able to put stuff on it. Dave's helping Laura with her assembly of her tower because there's so little time left. And then he offers to help Peter because Peter's trying to get his top on his tower and it's very delicate. But Peter manages to do it. Dave's like, careful, buddy. We're in friendly competition, so I'm being friendly. And not quite as fancy as we'd expect from Peter, but it looks about 8,000 times better than anything I've ever made in my life. So time is up. Well done, bakers. Everybody clapping and cheering and some relief, right? Of like, hey, the show is over, man. Me and Matt, we aged during this because we were rooting for everybody. Well done. Group hug. Then drone shots of the place. And then it's judgment time for this year's final Showstoppers. So, Laura, you have to carry it up to the front. I was like, man, what are you kidding me? Why can't you come to my workstation and eat this thing? Love to know the producers that have to pick the bases the things are going to go on. Because one of them has made a slate. I'm like, what if this slate wasn't rated for like an 8-pound cake? Like that producer would be like, they must be great at their job. I guess it's a compliment what I'm saying. I'm not capable of that. Okay, so Laura's cake is beautiful. They like the taste. Nice, moist, full of flavor and texture. Beautifully baked, heavenly cake. Key lime, stem ginger. Flavors are coming. There's a zing. And then the chocolate candied orange peel Chelsea bun. Nothing wrong with your baking, Laura. A little stretchy and squashy, but the flavor's fantastic. Lemon macaroons, lemon curd, flavor, delicate, soft middle. You're a good baker, good at flavor. Thank you so much. Just her details it just didn't come together. But everything sounded like it tasted delicious. It looked like it. Peter's up next. His is on slate. It's just so big. You can't believe they make people carry this stuff up like that. I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's just, I don't know how much something like that weighs, but Peter's like, this looks heavy. Okay, they look at it, a Christmas tree theme on top, quite festive, a battle of everything. Prue thinks it looks lovely. Strawberry jammy cream in the middle of this cake. They take some bites of it and think about it. Dave's watching, wondering, Peter says, they say flavor and texture's perfect, a little drier. Maybe a more creamy strawberry in the middle. Okay, then they go to the lemon and blackberry shoe buns. And this is where they start to get really impressed. Blackberry's delicious, and the lemon, sharp, lovely, smooth, silky smooth on inside, nicely baked, crackling worked. The Bada Bang biscuits are good. They're softening, but good. And the Freons, well, okay, maybe not. Bit disappointing for Peru. Doughy texture, bit stodgy. Oh boy, who will win now, you know? Thank you, Peter. Dave's like moving his seat, you know, he's like, well, I got a chance. You telling me I have a chance? Okay. All right, Dave, bring up your showstopper. And it's got mushrooms. It looks nice, too. Not as nice as Peter's, to be honest. Kind of looks like a Kauai cake with a mushroom tower on top. They look at it. Okay, it looks original. Well-designed, enticing even. Yeah, and also, like, risky. These are things you thought you could have done better, right? Are these perfect now? Prue says, just say yes. So they take out the Fraser cake, and they're impressed as soon as they get it out. A lot of filling. They take bites of it, and Paul even pauses. Tender, lovely, Prue says. Light summery cake. Okay, let's try this brownie. They cut that in half. Chocolate chunks, okay, but last time it was cake-like rather than gooey. And she goes, okay, I hit some goo. That's better. And light crack on top. Texture and good flavor. They're all right. Now they have the babka. Last time you struggled with babka because you didn't understand what we asked for. Took them out of the oven early, he says, the other ones. And these are out a little bit too late. Flavor's good. Dough's good. Dough is tough. Should be more open. All right, let's try the shoe buns. Too flat, right straight away. Paul doesn't even need to bite it. And they break it in half. Everybody's pausing. A lot of shots of not crispy, Paul says. And so wet filling is not making it any better. Cream need to be thicker. Brownies check. Cake check. Her fritterolls and babka cake still need work. But the Fraser cake is one of the nicest things Prue's had. A 7. Well done. Okay, so Dave's got a shot, you know. So everybody sits down. And we get the reaction shots, thinking, then talking heads. Peter says, I don't know. I just don't know. Prue wasn't keen on that. Stodgy. Because I love stodge. Laura's like, that went better than I expected. You know, yesterday was tough. So I could have done it maybe if I'd done better yesterday. And she's like, I think Dave's going to win. That's what Laura says. But it's going to be close. And Dave says, I don't know. It's all up to the judges. Then the contestants come out with some food for the guests, and the guests are clapping, baking show bubblers. And then Paul and Prue have a decision to make. Okay. And they talk about that cake. They talk about, okay, every cake on the bakers was good. All of them were really good, Paul says. And Laura had to excel. Her flavors were beautiful on every single layer, but she's not in the running, right? Matt says. So it's just 2 of them, and they're so close. The 2 sponges were perfect. So we've got to judge on the other 3 things. And so what should we do? Those could be improved. 2 of Peter's were excellent. 2 could be improved. So they're neck and neck. Is it a draw? How do you reach a decision? Close to draw, Paul says, I've ever seen. Wow. Okay, then we get cheering and clapping. And then the judges walk out with the trophy thing. And they say, okay, Bakers, come on up and join us. Everybody's cheering. The Bakers kind of, that's like awkward for them. And say, congratulations on reaching the final. You should be here with your family, but this is a different kind of family, us. Everybody came together to make the show happen, and Matt thanks everybody, everybody who worked on it, everybody taking care of us, cleaning, staff at the hotel looking after us. So they cheer for all those people. This is a really nice moment, for me, like just thinking about the people that, were there. And this is the closest final they ever had. Hardest decision they ever had to make. And Noel says, okay, the winner is, there's a pause, and everybody's holding their hands tight, standing stiff, gulping even for Peter, biting his lower lip for Dave. And Peter, and everybody cheers and claps and hugs. And there's chatter. And more hugs. He can't believe it, obviously. You're the winner, mate. Amazing, amazing. More hugs. He's like, can't quite believe it. And hugs around. Congratulations. Can't believe I made it here. Can't believe the show happened. Huge chapter in my life. And what a way for it to end. How close, Paul says. It was those shoe buns, really, that came down to, and the rough puff pastries. It was that close. Peter should be proud. Youngest winner we've had. First Scottish winner we've had. Terribly proud. Proves like it's my son or grandson. I'm so proud of him. Eager to learn. And she goes, that's what I like being on the show. I feel like they're my kids or my grandkids or whatever. Dave's not disappointed. I'd take runner-up all day long. Laura says, overjoyed and bittersweet. I got some flowers. Couldn't ask for a better winner. My flatmates told me that they have a shelf for me to put on. He laughs about that. We see him at 12. He got me into baking. Series 3. That was my favorite series of Bake Off. And he just spoils it. So I said, I could watch that, but you already just spoiled it. He goes, yeah, I'm a bake-off expert. 12-year-old Peter would be in awe. I relate to this because it's kind of like Sleep With Me, even though my gap was a lot bigger than Peter's. But, so everybody cheers for him. He's laughing, genuine smile. We freeze on his smile. And then it's like, I dedicated everybody from 2020, helping us get through 2020, man. And everybody cheering, bakers and their families, getting together. So we see everybody getting together. Then we get catch up on everybody. Larea, Mac, Rowan, and then Linda. And then we go to Sura and Mark hanging out at Lottie's with Laura and Dave. Lottie visiting Mark, Jasmine, and Rosie, Hermine and Steven, Laura, tidy kitchen, and then we've got Peter calling his family, and he's like, they're just waiting. And he goes, I won Bake Off. Then we see Peter back at school. His flatmates had no idea he was on the series. That's pretty funny. And then Ronnie, 8/12, Sunday, the 11th of October, future star baker. And the show's dedicated to Luis, and it comes to a close. So thanks, everybody, for joining us this season. And we'll check the holiday specials to see if any of this cast was in one of the holiday ones, and we'll do that in the holiday season. And, we'll have some other stuff coming up to put you to sleep, whether you're a Bake Off fan or whatever you're a fan of. We got something for you here coming out. So good night, and thanks for listening, and sleep well. Hey, everybody, this is Scoots, and this is a Tuck You In message. I don't know if you've been listening to episode after episode, or you just woke up, you're drifting in and out, but this is also a reminder the show is always here for you. as it has been since 2013. But I need to talk, just you and me. We got to talk for a minute if you're listening to me and hearing me right now. And you might have heard me talking about this before, but I do want to spell this out, that Sleep With Me, all of the funding to make Sleep With Me, everything that pays all of our bills and the costs of producing the show, 99% of that comes from listeners. We don't get any funding from outside sources or other entertainment companies or companies, companies like music streaming companies or video streaming companies. We don't have any investors, and there's no other like secret pipeline of support for Sleep With Me or almost every other podcast either. We get some money from sponsors that are direct response, meaning they base their sponsorship on the listeners that support them. A tiny bit from automated ads. But the majority of what keeps the show going comes from the people who get the most out of the podcast. Super listeners, ideally. And I don't know if you're a super listener. I don't know if you already made the decision you're not in a position to support the show. That's okay. Or you made the decision you're not going to support the show. That's okay, too. You could still take a part in this coming right up here. But if you didn't make one of those two decisions, we need support. Support from the people who benefit the most from the podcast. People that fall asleep fast. People that listen all night long. If we don't get more all-night listeners and people who fall asleep fast, the podcast won't be around. But we also need support from people that listen 3-4 nights a week. People who have listened for a year or longer. And I'm just wondering if you're in one of those groups. The podcast has changed your life for the better, and it continues to change your life for better. And I'm trying to lay out the stakes without using kind of fear or stress, because while that is effective, right? The last round this month, I tried to use a more positive message, and we actually lost subscribers. But it's so tiring for me. It's almost like I'd rather lose the podcast than kind of keep having to do this sales pitch and say, well, if the podcast is going to go away, if that's the only way to get people to support the show, I don't know, it's really, really not fun for me. So instead of, the stakes are there. If you haven't decided and the podcast has changed your life for the better, the stakes are, we need some of you, maybe it's you, to support the show, or it won't be around. But instead of focusing on that, I want to talk about rooting, about sending positive energy, rooting in the deep dark night. I've been talking about this in the intro for years. And that's what I believe in. I believe in rooting for other people to get a good night's sleep. And maybe you're here, maybe you stuck around because someone out there, somebody who was struggling in the deep dark night just like you, was rooting for you. And you could feel that welcome when you got here. Or maybe you're one of those people who roots for other people who are struggling in the deep dark night. And here's what a couple people who did sign up in the last round of messaging said. Tiffany Y said, just because you can get something for free doesn't mean you should. I know if I have trouble for sleeping, I just have to listen. I'll be out in no time. That is definitely worth a few dollars a month. And Michelle F. said, this show is like cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia and a sleep aid all in one. I also consider it an art form, and I believe in compensating artists for their work. Timothy T. said, I'm a full-time caregiver, and the person I care for discovered your podcast, and we really like the ad-free content. It makes it easier to listen to. And then John R., who said, I'm a super listener, said, I had no idea how urgent it was. I'd been meaning to support the show, but I just never took the time. I realize now I've been unintentionally voting now. So I subscribed and with feeling. So what I'm asking is, are you the one person everybody else is rooting for? Like, just to overcome whatever it is, putting it off or saying it doesn't matter, it matters. Or somebody else is going to do it. Or are you the person we're rooting for to support the show? Now, it's okay if you're not. Maybe you're rooting for yourself to get a good night's sleep as soon as this episode, maybe you're an all-night listener. Maybe you woke up and you're looking forward to falling asleep soon. If you are a super listener, we did build Sleep With Me Plus with you in mind. Ad-free episodes, ad-free story-only episodes, tons of different cool stuff. So if you're rooting for yourself, think about supporting the show on Sleep With Me Plus just so you get a better listening experience. But maybe you're rooting for somebody else out there. Maybe it's somebody this month, which we're rooting for, is people going back to school or who are impacted by the back-to-school season. It could be teachers, it could be parents, it could be students, it could be anybody dealing with increased traffic. Whatever it is, this beginning of this transitional season affects a lot of people. And we're rooting for all those people, whether they listen to the show or not. Or whether they're a super listener or a cat. They say, well, I just needed to get through the first couple weeks of school. We're rooting for all of them to get a good night's sleep. So you could root for those people. You could root for someone whose sleep struggles are just like yours, or you could receive the rooting, because I hope you can feel it right now. I'm rooting for you, but a bunch of other people are rooting for you right now across the world. But if you're the one we're rooting for that's like, yeah, I've been putting it off. Yes, Sleep With Me continues to change my life for the better. We're rooting for you to support the show. So they'll be around, not just for you, for every other person we're rooting for. You could do that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus, because we need support, right? And you might be thinking someone else will do it. But what if, as has been said in the last couple months, time after time, what if that someone else is you, right? You're the someone else. Well, if you're that person, we're cheering you on here. Don't let that resistance, and I know what the resistance feels like. I put it off. I say it doesn't matter. I say I'll do it tomorrow. Then I criticize myself. But just do it and see how it feels. And again, you could always cancel during the free trial or cancel after a month or two. But I'm so proud of the show. And this is how I want to try to get support for the show. If it doesn't work, I don't know what I'll do. But I'm going to keep trying this more positive but honest message where everybody can participate. And everybody can participate in giving and receiving. But it is like kind of like a needle in a haystack that we're looking for now, but we got to find it. So I don't know if you're the needle in the haystack or you're somebody snoozing in the haystack, or maybe you're a horse having a hay snack. I don't know. But thanks so much for listening, and good night.